Hello students, this is Vijay Lakshmi from English department. In our previous class, we learnt a poem The Schoolboy, which is written by one of the famous English poet William Blake. My dear friends, in today's session, let us have a look on the further content of your textbook, that is Reflections. The name of the content is Oru Manushan. Dear friends, this short story, Oru Manushan, is a short story and it is written by one of the famous Malayalam short story writer Vaiko Mohammad Bashir. Basically, the story is written in Malayalam language and it has been translated into English by one of the famous English writer by name V. Abdullah. My dear friends, Vaiko Mohammad Bashir, he was born in the year 1908 and he died in the year 1994. I told you he is a Malayalam short story writer as well as a novelist. And this Vaiko Mohammad Bashir, he is known for portraying the ordinary life, the sorrows and the joys of the ordinary people. He is known for in portraying the life of the ordinary people of the society. And this Vaiko Mohammad Bashir, he was the recipient of Central Sahitya Academy Award as well as Padma Shri Award for his literature. This is about Vaiko Mohammad Bashir. Vaiko Mohammad Bashir, he is a Malayalam short story writer. I hope I am clear in mentioning about Vaiko Mohammad Bashir. So let us have a look on the lesson Oru Manushan, the introductory part of the lesson. And one thing, I request you all to keep the textbook in front of you because to know the meanings of the difficult words and to know the meanings of some phrasal expressions or the phrasal verbs in the lesson, you need to have textbook in front of you. So my dear friends, please do keep the textbook in front of you. One thing that you need to know is Vaiko Mohammad Bashir, in the form of this lesson, that is Oru Manushan, he is going to speak about the sorrows and the happy moments of the ordinary people or ordinary life. This is about the introductory part of the lesson. And coming back to the word Oru Manushan, the given title to the lesson is Oru Manushan. And I told you Oru Manushan is a Malayali word, and in English Oru is a, Manushan is man. So the meaning of Oru Manushan in English, it is a man. This is about the meaning of the title Oru Manushan. In English it is a man, in Malayalam it is Oru Manushan, in Kannada it is Obba Manushana Kate ಅಥವಾ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಪುಟ್ಟದಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕತೆ is the meaning of this lesson Oru Manushan. So my dear friends, please do go through the lines of the lesson because I would like to explain the lesson line by line. So let us have a look on page number 30. Please do open your textbook.
Well, see, have a look on pre-reading activity. Who according to you is a good human being? Think of these qualities in a person. A question is asked to the readers. To whom would you like to call as a real human being? Helping the needy, extracting money from others, living a self-contented life. Self-contented, it is about a self-satisfied life. Being violent. Obviously, the answer is helping the needy. ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರನ್ನ ನಿಜವಾದ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಜವಾದ ಮಾನವ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಯಾವ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರ ಸಂಕಷ್ಟಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೋ ಅವನನ್ನು ನಾವು ನಿಜವಾದ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. This is about pre-reading activity. So let us have a look on a picture which is there in page number 30. Dear friends, in page number 30 there is a picture. The entire lesson Oru Manushan is based on this picture only. So it is essential to know the meaning of this picture too. See here, there is a hotel. It's a small village hotel. It is not a 5-star hotel here. And there in the hotel we are finding chefs. Food is also there, delicious food. In fact, idli, vada, everything is there. And we are finding some customers in the hotel. A woman is sitting. She is busy in having a cup of coffee and her son is sitting. And another customer is busy in having his food. a man is standing over here, and here look at this picture particularly. See, the owner of the hotel, he is holding a customer. Probably this customer may not pay the bill of the hotel. He might not pay the bill of the hotel, so he was caught hold by the owner of the hotel. And look at these two people. These two are the customers of the hotel. See, by seeing the situation of this customer, these two people are passing negative comments. It shows, the picture shows that these two customers are passing the negative comments instead of helping this person. So this entire picture is symbolizing something. We already learned that Mr. Waiko Mohammad Bashir, he is known for showing the problematic situations of the common people. So this customer is also a common people. Look at the life and the thoughts of the common people here. These people, though this man is in a problematic situation, instead of coming forward to help him, these people are involved in their activities. So what type of human beings are these is the question of Mr. Waiko Mohammad Bashir. So this is about this picture. Let us have a look on lesson. Go through the lines of the lesson. You have no definite plans. You are wandering around far away from home. You have no money with you. You do not know the local language. You can speak English and Hindustani. Here Hindustani is a Hindi language, but very few people know either of these languages. This can land you in many predicaments. Underline the word predicaments. Meaning of predicament is, it is dangerous situation or a problematic situation. Apaya anta heli karitivalla, that is predicaments. Many adventures can befall you. See, in the introductory part of the lesson, the narrator Waiko Mohammad Bashir, he is making the readers to imagine themselves in the condition, in the situation of this customer or this man. In the beginning of the lesson itself, the narrator Waiko Mohammad Bashir, he is using a pronoun you instead of mentioning I, because the lesson is speaking about his experiences. So instead of mentioning you, he could have mentioned I. But the intention of Waiko Mohammad Bashir is to make the readers to imagine themselves in the situation of this narrator or this man. Hence, he is using this word you. You have no definite plans. This entire paragraph is making the readers to imagine themselves in the situation of the narrator, where the narrator is telling that without making any plans, without having a single rupee in your hands, without knowing where you people are going, if you leave your place, when you reach some strange place, there in that strange place you will face some problems. The narrator is telling that when you leave your place without any proper plans, without any money in your hands, when you reach another place which is completely a strange place to you, definitely you have to face some problems because you are moneyless, you have no money in your hands, and moreover you are unable to speak the language of that particular place. So the narrator says that you have no definite plans. Without any proper plans, without money in your hands, without knowing the language of that distant place, if you are staying in that place, means you have to face some problems. Obviously, a person falls in a dangerous situation is the meaning of this particular paragraph. You find yourself caught in a dangerous situation. Imagine that you left your home without any plans, without having money in your hands, and you reached a place which is completely a strange place to you. And there in that new place, you are unable to speak their language. You are able to speak Hindi and English, but very few people of that new place, they are able to understand your language. So the narrator says that such kind of situation may make you to fall in a dangerous situation. So the writer says that you just imagine yourself if you are caught in such a dangerous situation. A total stranger rescues you. Meaning of rescue is saving, saves, ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. Even after years pass by, you will sometimes remember the man and wonder why he did so. See, you are staying, you are there in that new place, you are unable to speak the language of that place, and you have no money in your hands, and you have no proper food to eat. During that time, if you fall in a dangerous situation, if a total stranger comes and rescues you, after some years, you will remember that person. And a question arises in your mind, why that stranger, he is a stranger, he is not your relative or he is not your friend, why did that stranger rescue my life? Obviously a question arises. The same question arose in the mind of even this narrator Waiko Muhammad Bashir. My dear friends, try to know that this writer Waiko Muhammad Bashir, in the form of this short story Or Manushan, he is going to record his own experience. So in the beginning of the lesson itself, it is only in the beginning of the lesson he is making us to imagine ourselves in his situation, but later on we'll come to understand where he says that, let us say it is I, not you, who remembers the man. So here narrator, it is the narrator who underwent or who went through such experiences in his life, and he is going to record his experience in this lesson Oru Manushan. See, I am now narrating an experience which I had. So the narrator says that this word I refers to narrator Waiko Muhammad Bashir. He says that he is explaining about his own story. I have some vague notions about human beings. The meaning of vague is complicated, ಗೊಂದಲಮಯವಾದಂಥದ್ದು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. Notions is nothing but thoughts or ideas, including myself. The narrator says that he has a kind of some very complicated ideas or complicated thoughts about the human beings. There are around me good men and thieves, those who suffer from various infectious diseases and from madness. One has to live carefully. The world has more evil than good. Underline this sentence. We realize this only after we get hurt. See, the narrator is telling that the lesson is about his experience, and he is telling that he has some complicated notions about the other people, because this world is having more evil than the good. It is the opinion of the narrator. You may agree with him or you may not agree with him. It is the thought of the narrator. ಈ ಒಂದು ಜಗತ್ತಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕೆಟ್ಟದ್ದೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಮಾತನ್ನು ರೈಟರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಲೆಸನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನೂ ಅಂಥ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಸರಳವಾದಂಥದ್ದು. ನೀವು ಯಾವತ್ತಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಕೈ ಒಳಗೆ ರೊಕ್ಕ ಇಲ್ದನ ಅಥವಾ ಏನೂ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಡನ್ನಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಆ ಪ್ಲೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಬರದೇ ಹೋಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡು ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಮಗಲ್ಲಿ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜು ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸನ್ನು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ನೀವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮನ್ನು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್, ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೇ ಇರುವಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಬಂದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷಗಳಾದಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ನೆನಪು ಬರ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತೈತಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಅವನು ನಮಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ನು ಸಹಜವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸೊಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅರೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನರೇಟರ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ರೈಟರ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಸಚ್ ಎ ಸಿಟಿ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಾಸ್ ಫಿಲ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಥೀವ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿ ರಾಬರ್ಸ್. ಒಂದು ಸಿಟಿ ಒಳಗೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ತನ್ನ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಸಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಟಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಜನ ಇದ್ದರು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಕಳ್ಳರಿದ್ದರು, ಕೊಲೆಗಾರರಿದ್ದರು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಹ್ಯುಮ್ಯಾನಿಟಿನೇ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಥ ಜನರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಈ ರೈಟರ್ ಅಥವಾ ನರೇಟರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹಿ ಸೇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಎವಿಲ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ದಿ ಗುಡ್. ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕೆಟ್ಟದ್ದೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ narrator, and he says that we realize this only after we get hurt. See how narrator is opining. You will realize it. It is my own experience. It is the experience of the narrator. You will realize it when you come across such situation in your life, is the meaning of this particular paragraph. See, let me record here that incident which was perhaps quite insignificant. Meaning of insignificant, not so important. Narrator says that he would like to narrate his experience, which is not the experience of the readers, it is the experience of the writer. For writer it is an important incident, but for the reader it is not so important. And the real story begins now. Here, dear friends, in this particular paragraph, the narrator is introducing that new place. It was quite a big city in the valley of a mountain, some 1500 miles from home. Underline the sentence, some 1500 miles from home. It's a 1 marks question. In this particular paragraph, narrator Waiko Muhammad Bashir, he is trying to explain the city, the new city. The name of that place is not mentioned in the lesson, but he says that that particular city, it was a big city and it was situated in the valley of a mountain, and it was almost 1500 miles away from the place, from the native place of the Waiko Muhammad Bashir. It's a 1 marks question. How far was the new city from the native place of Waiko Muhammad Bashir? It was 1500 miles away from his home. The inhabitants of which had never been known for the quality of mercy. Meaning of mercy, it is compassion, karune. Inhabitants, the people of the place, Chandru. The people were very, very cruel that they were not knowing the quality of compassion or humanity. ಆ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಏನಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಪ್ಲೇಸಿನ ಹೆಸರೇನು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರೈಟರು. ತಾವು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೂ ತಲೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸಡನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋದಾಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಊರೊಳಗೆ ಬಂದು ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಊರೊಳಗೆ ಜನ ಹೆಂಗಿದ್ರು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬ ಕ್ರಿಯಲ್ ಜನ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕರುಣೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹ್ಯುಮ್ಯಾನಿಟಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ದೇ ವರ್ ಅ ಕ್ರೂಯಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್. Murder, robbery, pickpocketing, these were daily occurrences, activities, ದಿನನಿತ್ಯದ ಕೆಲಸಗಳು. The people of that place, they were very, very cruel and they were not real human beings. They were not knowing the quality of mercy or humanity, and the daily activities of the place were it's murdering, committing murder, or pickpocketing, and also robbery. You see, by tradition, the people were professional soldiers. Some of them went to distant places and lent out money on interest. By tradition, the people were soldiers. ಮೊದಲಿಂದನೂ ಕೆಲವು ಜನರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈನಿಕರಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವರ್ಷಗಳಾದ ನಂತರ the people left their place and they went to some other place and they started working as the money lenders. Many others served as watchmen in banks, mills, and large commercial establishments in big cities. And some people, they left their place and they started working as the money lenders, and some other people, they were working as watchmen in banks, mills, and large commercial establishments. So money was highly valued by them. For money they would do anything, even commit murder. Try to understand the meaning of the sentence here. The writer is telling that in the previous paragraph only he told he had some vague thoughts, some complicated thoughts about these human beings. In this city, the people were very, very cruel that they were ready to commit murder for the sake of money. ದುಡ್ಡಿಗಾಗಿ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರ ಜೀವನವನ್ನೇ ತೆಗೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತಯಾರಿದ್ದಂಥ ಜನ ಆ ಊರಿನ ಜನ ಆಗಿದ್ರು. This is about this paragraph, the introduction of the city, the new city where the narrator is staying at present. So we have come across 2 1 marks questions, I guess. Yes, 2 1 marks questions. One was how far was the strange city from the native place of the narrator. It was 1500 miles away from his native place. And what were the occurrences of the people of that city? Murder, robbery, pickpocketing were the daily occurrences of the people. This is about this paragraph. So let us have a look on the further paragraph of the lesson. I stayed in that city in a very small, dingy room on a dirty street. There in that new city, he started living in a small place, in a small room, which was there in a dirty street. I carried on a profession there. There he started working. He carried on a profession, teaching English to some migrant laborers from 9:30 till 11 in the night. There in that city, to lead his life, the narrator Waikom Mohammad Bashir, he started working as a English teacher. Then to whom he was teaching? He was teaching for the migrant laborers. What was he teaching? He was teaching them English. And he was teaching them from 9:30 to till 11 in the night. ಹೊಸ ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಬೇಕು. ಆ ದುಡ್ಡಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಟೀಚರಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಏನಿತ್ತು, ಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ 9:30ಯಿಂದ 11. 1 marks question. Underline the word 9:30 till 11 in the night. From 9:30 till 11 in the night, he was working as an English teacher and he was teaching that English for the migrant laborers. Migrant ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಕಡೆಗೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗುವರು. ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ವಲಸೆ ಹೋಗೋರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ವಲಸೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಕರಿತೀವಿ. I taught them to write addresses in English. Waikom Mohammad Bashir, he was good in English. He knew English and Hindi. So he started teaching these migrant laborers English and he was teaching them to write their addresses in English. Learning to write an address in English was considered great education there. Underline this sentence. See, in that city, learning to write their addresses in English was considered as the great education. It is a 1 marks question. What was considered as a great education in the city? It was learning to write addresses in English was considered as the great education. You must have seen people who write addresses at the post office. They were paid anything between 1 anna and 4 annas for writing an address. Indeed, in post offices or in gram panchayats, we may come across some people. They'll fill the forms and they'll earn some money by filling the forms or by writing the addresses in the post office. See, we are studying the story of 1970s or 1980s here. Nowadays, the zamana is getting changed, but during that time, the people, they were unable to write their addresses or they were unable to fill the forms. They used to pay something to the person who used to help them to write their address. In the same way, this narrator, he is teaching those migrant laborers to write their addresses. Then why these migrant laborers were learning that, why they were learning to write, why they were learning this English? Because they were not, like, they wanted to escape from giving money to the others. Like, if they go to post office to send any of the letters to their places, to write those addresses, they were paying some annas, some money to the others who were writing the address. To save that money, those migrant laborers, they were learning this English. And this Waikom Mohammad Bashir, he was teaching them to write their addresses in English. It is about this particular paragraph.
So that's it for today's class. We'll stop here and we'll continue the further paragraph in our next class. We will meet in our next class. Till the time we meet next, happy learning and keep loving literature. Thank you.